Three Irishmen walk into a bar. Bartender looks up and says, "Is this some kind of joke? Huh? Huh? Hi, it's Casey Zempel with the City of New Dublin, and welcome to The End of the Rainbow, the show that celebrates all things Irish from the Emerald Isle of the Midwest. And we welcome today New Dublin's favorite lass, Miss Melissa Mulroy of the Shamrock Club. Welcome.
Oh, gee, thank you, Casey.
Of course, everybody was saddened to learn that the parade had been canceled due to the COVID. But not everything has been completely shut down. As a matter of fact, you have your Irish Entertainment Night coming up this week. What can folks expect?
Oh, it'll be a nice, very nice program out at Crystal Falls. Okay. Instead of the high school, it is at Crystal Falls this year. It's still free and open to everyone who would like to come. We will be sitting at round tables so that you can space yourselves out differently. The program itself will be introduction of the Irish man, Bob Murphy. His wife Terry is the Irish Rose.
And you guys like to roast them a little bit, don't you?
We do. We've got a special little skit for them.
Okay.
And the Grand Marshal, Dorothy Nielsen, I will be singing a song to embarrass her as well as I can. And then we will also have the Irish lad and lass reading their winning poems that gave them that title.
That's right, and on the next show on Friday, we're going to actually have those lad and lass. We're going to have them in here reciting their poems.
That's
which
great.
I can't wait for. Now, there is no easy segue into our next subject. Recently, the City of New Dublin lost one of our biggest cheerleaders. Her name was Judy McDaniel. Melissa, I think it's only fitting that here on St. Paddy's Day, we say a few things about her legacy and what she meant to this town.
I'm happy you asked me to talk about Judy, not only a best friend, but a partner in crime in many situations. We've been announcing the parade for years together, and I swear, if I didn't know who was coming down the street, she did, and she knew who they were married to, who they're divorced from. She knew everything about everybody, and it was great fun to be with Judy.
And we actually have a program. So the last show, we showed the very first parade, and we thought for today's show, we'd show the very first program. And there's something very interesting that you pointed out about Judy in that program. What should people look for? A vintage Judy moment.
That's true. Casey, it is the Irish Wake is the first act in the original program. And the body is brought in, and actually the coffin is sitting at the base of the stage during the whole time. So they're on stage, and the priest hands the widow, who is Judy, the mic, and it doesn't work. So you have to listen to her classic comment.
So enjoy this vintage program, 1984, the first year they did it, from the City of New Dublin and the Shamrock Club. I'm Casey Zempel, along with Melissa Mulroy, and thank you for joining us at the End of the Rainbow.
London, and welcome to St. Patrick's Day. This is a special edition of the New Halloran Running Show, St. Patrick's Day edition. We're above John's Bar, taking a bit of the wee country, and tonight we're going to have a very special guest with us. Mr. Robert Murphy's going to be singing some of the wee songs with us. So at this time, without...
That's for sure. Anyway, the local radio station sent along a microphone that he used every Friday night announcing the local striptease act at Flynn's Pub. And they wanted to have this microphone for you. I guess it doesn't work.
Now I have 2 dead mics.
That's on your own accord now. And we have, I believe, the girlfriend, second-hand Rose. Whenever she doesn't feel good, she goes out and gets a new outfit for herself. The other day she was down in the dumps and she picked up this arrangement. And of course, there were several brother-in-laws, I believe. The cause of his death, no doubt. And he pinched the poor fellow to death.
Not me, no, it wasn't me. It was him.
Yes.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Will. Bill who? No, it wasn't Will. It was you, not me. Will.
And I believe the other lady that used to go out with him is right behind you. Do you want to say anything to her? No.
Oh my God!
I guess she's good with sheep. But anyway, do we have any more words before we lay the body to rest? And a final blessing.
We get Mr. Murphy to sing a blessing.
Could we maybe have a song for him before the bishop puts the final blessing on him?
Yes.
I guess he was fond of hats. Got him into his head.
Well, which one? I will give a little blessing. It is a short song. Should that be all right?
Appreciate it. This is all we have.
Will that be all right? Oh, they sprinkled him with roses just to make it look so grand. And when they had it finished, they called it
respects to Mr. Finnegan. He's here on display. Please come up and pay your last respects to the man. He did the best for us. And, hey, donations, yes. Not so much these kinds, but the full ones, the full ones.
Hello, New London, and welcome to a special edition St. Patrick's Day Hello, New London program. Tonight we're in above John's Bar in beautiful downtown New London, celebrating St. Patrick's Day with Mr. Jerry Murphy. He's going to entertain you with some songs, some tunes, poems, and whatever. So at this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you New London's own wee leprechaun himself, Mr. Jerry Murphy.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our St. Patrick's Day program here above John's beautiful lounge and cocktail bar. We certainly appreciate all you wonderful people coming out tonight. I know there's a good basketball game on. It shows me where your heart is. It's in St. Patrick's today. It's fine. I appreciate it very much. How about that parade today? Wasn't that something? Street, I just couldn't believe all the people that were standing on the streets. I thought that everybody would be huddled in a car and peeking out the windows. For those people braved the weather and came out there. It was all the way down the street and I went down Wisconsin Street, way down into the plaza, and there were still people out there with cars parked in the right direction in order to watch that parade. And so the first parade that we ever had here in the city of New London. It reached our expectations and way above. And maybe next year, with the help of the good Lord and St. Patrick, it will be a little warmer, and maybe the sun will be out just a little bit sooner. So tonight, I would just like to start it off with a song, hoping that as we go along that that my dear girl and beautiful Melissa Mulroy will be here. She's going to come. They just got held up out there a little way, and so she's going to be here. So she told me to go ahead and start it off. So I'm going to start off with a song that goes like this. An American landed on Erin's green isle, and he gazed at Killarney with rapturous smile. How can I buy it? He said to the guide. Well, I'll tell you how, with a smile he replied. How can you buy all the stars in the skies? How can you buy two blue Irish eyes? How can you purchase a fond mother's sighs? How can you buy Killarney? Nature bestowed all her gifts with a smile on the emeralds and the shamrocks and the blarney. And when you can buy all these wonderful things, then you can buy Killarney. Such a wonderful landscape I never have seen, a jewel so rare 'twould befit any queen. The pride of old Erin, a sight to behold, is a treasure on earth far more precious than gold. So how can you buy all the stars in the skies? How can you buy two blue Irish eyes? How can you purchase a fond mother's sighs? How can you buy Killarney? Nature bestowed all her gifts with a smile on the emeralds and the shamrocks and the blarney. And when you can buy all these wonderful things, then you can buy Killarney. The pale moon was rising above the green mountain, and the sun was declining beneath the blue sea. As I strayed with my love to that pure crystal fountain that stands in the beautiful vale of Crawley. She was lovely and fair as the rose of the summer, and yet 'twas not her beauty alone that won me. Oh no, 'twas the truth in her eyes ever dawning that made me love Mary, the rose of Crawley. She was lovely and fair as the rose of the summer, and yet 'twas not her beauty alone that won me. Oh no, was the truth in her eyes ever dawning that made me love Mary, the rose of Crawley. I came up here a little early tonight and I was walking around and all these wonderful TV people that we have here tonight with us. And he said, Jerry, don't worry. He says, just be natural. your natural self, he says, and everything will go along all right. Don't worry. You know, that reminds me of the story of the pilot who comes walking down the aisle of the airplane, and he's got the parachute strapped on his back. And he says to the passengers, he said, I have one announcement to make. He says, I'm sorry to tell you, but all 4 engines have just clunked out. But he says, don't worry, I'm going to go for help. Want me to wait a little longer for that one? At this time, I'm going to introduce Mary Hyde. Come up and do some dancing for us. Mary, now, this wonderful couple that you see over here came to St. Patrick's some time ago. They came from Minneapolis. And I'll tell you, St. Patrick's is really lucky to have such a wonderful couple as these two people. And so at this time, I would like to introduce to you Mary Hyde, and she's going to do some dances for us. Mary?
You're right. You're too far. Can you start it again? You're too far into the dance.
Right from St. Patrick's, isn't she something? Huh? next guest, ladies and gentlemen, comes to us from UWGB, University of Wisconsin of Green Bay. Ron Murphy. He is going to sing the song Danny Boy.
Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses fallen. It's you, must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so. But when ye come and all the flowers are dying, if I am dead, as dead I well may be, you'll come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave there for me. And I shall hear the song you tread above me, and all my grave will warmer, sweeter be. For you will bend and tell me that you love me, and I shall sleep in peace until you come to me. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so.
My next guest tonight is a lady that used to belong to St. Patrick's out in Lebanon, but now they belong to Manawa.
I hear ya.
And we hated to lose this beautiful and talented lady because she is really a beautiful singer. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call on Pam O'Brien. Pam.
Hey!
Because you got to stand in between the legs.
I'm going to sing My Wild Irish Rose. I'll sing it through once, and then I'd like you to join me, because I know I'm not the only one here that can sing. My wild Irish rose, the sweetest flower that grows,
boys out there ready for that Irish jig? Mike, you all set, me boy? You need the partner? You need the partner. Who has he got out there as a partner? Oh, I see. Well, we'll work on that music. Why don't you go over there and talk to Mr. Wright? Mike, go over and talk to Mr. Wright. I'll put you on a little later. Here's a man that I can call on at any time. He's always ready to help me out. And at this time, I'd like to call on a very good friend of mine. I know you're going to enjoy singing. Maybe you'll even do something else, I don't know. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Jim Lawton. Jim?
I'm going to attempt to sing a song that I've never sang before, so you'll have to bear with me. Oh, it is the biggest mix-up that you have ever seen. Me father, he was orange, and me mother, she was green. My father was an Ulster man, a Protestant was he. Me mother was a Catholic girl from County Cork was she. They were married in 2 churches, lived happily enough, until the day that I was born and things got awful tough. Oh, it is the biggest mix-up that you have ever seen. Me father, he was orange, and me mother, she was green. Baptized by Father Riley, I was rushed away by car to be made a little orange man, me father's shining star. I was christened David Anthony, but in spite of that, me father called me William, but me mother called me Pat. Oh, it is the biggest mix-up that you have ever seen. Me father, he was orange, and me mother, she was green. Every Sunday, with my mother, every Sunday off to Mass, I proudly strolled. And after that, the Orange lads would try to save my soul. Both sides they tried to clear me, but I was smart because I played the flute, I played the harp, depend on where I was. Oh, it is the biggest mix-up that you have ever seen. Me father, he was orange, and me mother, she was green. One day me ma's relation came along to visit me, just as my father's kinfolks were sitting down to tea. Excuse me now. They tried to smooth things over, but they all began to fight. I must be strictly neutral, 'cause I fight everyone in sight. Oh, it is the biggest mix-up that you have ever seen. Me father, he was orange, and me mother, she was green. Now my parents, they never could agree about my type of school. My learning was all done at home, that's why I'm such a fool. They both passed on, God rest them, and left me caught between this awful color problem of the orange and the green. Oh, it is the biggest mix-up that you have ever seen. Me father, he was orange, and me mother, she was green. Somebody said here earlier this evening they wanted to hear Clancy, so. Oh, Clancy was a peaceful man, if you know what I mean. The cops picked up the pieces after Clancy left the scene. He never looked for trouble, that's a fact you can assume. But nevertheless, when trouble would press, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, there Clancy, oh, there Clancy. Whenever they got his Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom. O'Leary was a fighting man, they all knew he was tough. He strutted round the neighborhood, shooting off his duff. He picked a fight with Clancy, then and there he sealed his doom. Before he could shout, O'Leary looked out, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, there Clancy, oh, there Clancy. Whenever they got and ordered up around. He left his drink to telephone and Clancy drunk it down. Muldoon, he says, who drunk me drink? I'll lay him in a stool. Before you get past the top of your hat, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, Clancy, oh, Clancy. Whenever they got the Irish up, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, Houlihan delivered ice to Mrs. Clancy's flat. He'd always linger for a while to talk of this and that. One day he kissed her just as Clancy walked into the room. Before he could shout the time of the day, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, Clancy, come on. Now Clancy left the barber shop with tonic on his hair. He walked into the pool room where he met O'Reilly there. O'Reilly said, for goodness sakes, now do I smell perfume? Before you get stacked your cue in the rack, Clancy lowered the boom. Oh, Clancy, whenever I got his Irish Clancy. Now all the neighbors turned out for Kate O'Grady's wedding night. McDoodle said, let's have some fun, I think I'll start a fight. He wrecked the halls and kissed the bride and pulverized the groom. Before he could shout the time of the day, Clancy lowered the boom. As long as you put up with me this long, just one more little one. A-J and a double R-I-G-A-N spells Harrigan. Proud of all the Irish blood that's in me. Devil a man be saying a word against me. A-J and a double R-I-G-A-N-U-C. Now it's a name that no shame ever has been connected with the Harrigan. That's me. L-O-U-G-H-R-I-N spells Lougherin. Proud of all the Irish blood that's in me. Will a man be saying a word against me? L-O-U-G-H-R-I-N-U-C. Now it's a name that no shame ever has been connected with the Lougherin. That's me.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the young lady that really put this whole thing together, that parade. She done one perfect job. Not only this lady, but a whole group. I wouldn't want to mention any names because I'd be sure to forget somebody. But I was the man, I would say maybe 4 or 5 years ago, that thought that we should have a program someplace and that we should have a parade, that it was all possible. And so Melissa and I have talked about it 2 or 3 different times. So we all got together, and the cooperation actually that we've had on this, I mean, it's just outstanding. And one thing that I just marveled at was the group of young people that came in and took this thing by the horns. And I was the other night when we had a committee meeting down the street here a little ways. Where was that? In the Methodist Church. Yeah. I just looked around that crowd, and they were all, I was the only old buck that was sitting around there. And so things are looking very good for the future. And at this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to give you Melissa Mulroy.
Kind of hard to sing over a corpse. think you've had a nice program tonight, so I'll just sing one short tune for you people out here. All of you are Irish. A lot of you are of Irish descent, and many of you have Irish mothers or maybe Irish grandmothers. Did your mother come from Ireland? Sure, there's something in you Irish. Will you tell me where you get those Irish eyes? And before she left Killarney, did your mother kiss the Blarney? There's a little touch of brogue you can't disguise. Sure, I wouldn't be romancing. I can almost see you dancing where the Kerry pipers play. Sure, and maybe it's your saying that the shamrock you'll be wearing on the next St. Patrick's Day. Did your mother come from Ireland? Sure, there's something in you Irish, and that bit of Irish steals my heart away.
Thank you very much. Now, Jim Lauren was talking about Pat, reminding the story. Here a couple of days ago, Pat came walking down the street over here and he came to the red light. And he was waiting for the light to change, and there was a lady that was out walking her dog. She had this little dog on a leash. And as they stood there waiting for the light to change, the dog kept smelling of Pat's pants leg. And Pat kind of kept sliding away like this, and pretty soon the dog went away and he came back again and he started sniffing of Pat's pants leg and he started moving away, and pretty soon the lady said, "Don't worry," she says, "my dog won't bite you." Oh, and Pat says, "I know he won't bite me. I also know that when he lifts his leg, he ain't going to bark either." Mike, you haven't got your music together, me boys. Huh? Oh, good. Now you're talking to me, boy. Hey, Mike was looking for a partner. Mike was looking for a partner, and he's got a good one now. Here they are. Mary-eyed and Mike O'Coyle.
Yeah, going to.
stage because last year it seemed as though Mike needed a little more room. I had the honor of singing for the first time at a baptism a year and a half ago. And this is for Dave and Melissa Mulroy's beautiful little daughter. They asked me to sing at this baptism up to Most Precious Blood Church, and it was really and truly a great honor. They call their daughter Macushla Mulroy. Macushla was a song that was first recorded way back in the 1920s. It was written in 1918, and it was recorded by that great Irish tenor, Franklin McCormick. Now, there is no music around to this song anymore, but Melissa, she happened to have a recording of Franklin McCormick singing Macushla. And when I listened to that the first time, I almost called her up and said, let's forget it. Because here's one of the greatest Irish tenors that the world has ever known. And so, needless to say, ladies and gentlemen, I had to do some improvising, and I mean improvising. And so tonight, I would just like to sing this song. This is the second time I sang this song, but it is a beautiful song. I hope you like it. It goes like this. Macushla, Macushla, your sweet voice is calling, calling me softly again and again. Macushla, Macushla, I hear it dear pleading. My blue-eyed Macushla, I hear it in vain. Macushla, Macushla, your white arms are reaching. I feel them unfolding, caressing me still. Fling them out from the darkness, my lost love, Macushla. Let them find me and bind me again if they will. Macushla, Macushla, your red lips are saying that death is a dream and that love is for aye. Then awaken, Macushla, awake from your dreaming. My blue-eyed Macushla, awaken, Did I forget anybody at all? Is there anybody that wants to be on the program? No governors, huh?
Mark Sagan. Sagan wants to go up there. Sharon.
Did something, yeah.
Good Morning America on 7 o'clock Thursday night, or Thursday morning, not Thursday night. David Hartman had Garrett Fitzgerald on there from Ireland, the Prime Minister of Ireland. He said within a month there will be a report of they want to make a peace in Ireland to end the bloodshed. They've invited the Unionists in there, but so far they haven't attended. They want to make a peace in Northern Ireland and the Republic to end the bloodshed. David Hartman said there's 44 million Irish Americans. We're the greatest ethnic group in America. 44 million of us. And he said, Americans are concerned of what's going on in Ireland. And he said within a month they're going to have a report, they're going to report to the British government to try and find the end of the bloodshed in Ireland. Is that great news?
As we come to the close of our program, ladies and gentlemen, I do have a poem here that I would like to read to you. And it goes like this. There's some real good words. I want you to pay very close attention. There are many, many legends about St. Patrick's Day, about the shamrock and the blarney and the leprechauns at play, and that most delightful story that God blessed the Emerald Isle with the beauty of his goodness and the sunshine of his smile. And a dear beloved saint taught the Irish about God just by showing them a shamrock that was grown on Aaron's sod. He told them of the Trinity, the living three in one, the Holy Ghost, the Father, and his beloved Son. And all these lovely legends of the well-loved Irish race have given every Irishman a very special place. Not only just in history, but in everybody's heart. For of this old earth's laughter, the dearest, finest part is made of smiling Irish eyes and mirth-filled Irish jokes. And what a dull world this would be without God's Irish folks. I just have one more song, and this is I believe this song, this is one of my favorite songs, I believe. And it's a favorite song of a lot of Irish people. I've been asked by at least one person to sing this song tonight, and it goes like this. If you ever go across the seas to Ireland, then maybe at the closing of your day, you will sit and watch the moon rise over Claga and see the sun go down on Galway Bay, just to hear again the ripple of the trout stream and the women in the meadows making hay, and to sit beside a turf fire in the cabin and watch the barefoot gossoons at their play. Or the breezes blowing o'er the seas from Ireland, they're perfumed by the heather as they blow, and the women in the uplands picking praties, they speak a language that the strangers do not know. For the strangers came and they tried to teach us their way, and they scorned us just for being what we are. but they might as well go chasing after moonbeams or light a penny candle from a star. And if there is going to be a life hereafter, and somehow I am sure there's going to be, I will ask my God to let me make my heaven in that dear land across the Irish Sea. And if there is going to be a life hereafter, and somehow I am sure there's going to be, I will ask my God to let me make my heaven in that dear land across the Irish Sea. Okay, we got St. Patrick. St. Patrick, would you like to say a few words to this audience?
Few words, but I'd like to say a few words. May the rose rise to meet you, may the winds be always against your back. May the sun shine soft upon your face. May the rains fall soft upon your fields. Until we meet again, may God always hold you in the palm of his hand. And to each and every one here, may you be in heaven a half hour before the devil knows you are gone.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes actually our program. I would like to thank each and every one of you for coming tonight. And so I'll close it just exactly like we opened it up. And so they sprinkled it with shamrocks just to make it look so grand. And when they had it finished, sure they called it
Happy St. Patrick's Day.